1893. People were dying left and right from raw milk in downtown Philadelphia, New York, Boston, England, St. Petersburg, Russia. Same kind of thing was going on. People were bringing their cows into the cities. They were taking on new things, becoming shoemakers and doctors and lawyers in the cities in 1893. But they didn't have anything to eat, and the water quality was terrible. And it was a filthy, disgusting place with typhoid fever and all kinds of tuberculosis and brucellosis, and people died from it. It was horrible. People were not dying from the milk out of the farm, where the clean water, sunshine, and grass was fine. So it was a set of conditions in a specific time. In 1893, two things happened. Strauss suggested using parboiling, which was early pasteurization. Just cook the heck out of that, fewer people will die. True, it did. Fewer people died when they cooked the heck out of the milk. But another guy by the name of Mr. Coit, Henry Coit, established the American Association of Medical Milk Commissioners. Physicians that would go out and look at dairies, audit them, and make sure they had very clean, pristine conditions. The milk was chilled, the cows were healthy, and that milk was called the certified raw milk. That was used in the White House. It was on the Titanic. Presidents drank it. It was taken to the Mayo Clinic to heal people. That's the untold story of what happened in 1893 with pasteurization of filthy milk and the preservation and production of healthy, safe milk. To quote Dr. Bruce German, pasteurization is an 18th century solution to an 18th century problem, and we can do a whole lot better.
Most milk that I grew up drinking that is available in supermarkets across the United States is pasteurized, meaning it's heated, often to very high temperatures, above 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason for this is because most milk is produced in sub-sanitary conditions and is never meant to be drunk raw.
Raw milk is something that we don't try to push on people. We want folks to have done their own self-education. I'm Jacob Coleman. My wife and I started Sweetgrass in 2013. We both came from dairy backgrounds and had open minds about launching a local food community. Clean milk starts with the cow's environment. We don't have, cows standing in raw manure. They're eating and living in a fresh spot every single day. We're rotating around about 150 acres, and the cows have fresh pasture and a fresh bed every day of the year. At milking time, they come up. I've never been able to teach these cows how to not use the bathroom up here.
Yes.
And they use the bathroom out there, and they also use the bathroom up here. But using wood chips and carbon sources allows us to create an environment here where the cows enter and exit the milk parlor every day, and it doesn't smell. So some cows are real excited to milk. You'll get milk on you if you're not careful. We start with sanitizing the teats. So we use iodine. Every cow's dipped and then wiped clean, and we look at the milk. So, milking by hand, we get asked, is that the most natural way of milking a cow? And it's actually not. And when a calf or like a baby human nurses, they're applying suction plus a squeezing motion.
Yeah.
And hand expressing milk is the most uncomfortable way to milk for cows and for moms.
Yeah.
So what a milking system does is it mimics that suction and squeezing motion at the same time. It's going into a system where the milk's not hitting open air, so we remove the opportunity for contaminants to get into the milk right at milking. So our milk leaves the cow directly into a stainless steel pipeline system. It's pre-chilled as it goes to the bulk tank, and the milk flows straight from the cow to the bulk tank and is directly chilled at that point.
We want to get those udders really, really clean. So let me show you here. That udder is really clean.
Yes, it is.
No manure anywhere near there. So that's the goal, is to make sure you're only getting milk. And then your machines are really clean too.
Yes.
So yeah, you're going to pick up a little bit of bacteria, but it's extremely low levels, and it's generally not pathogenic. We test for it. So they're going to do a whole prep on that udder before they even put the machine on. That's been triple washed coming in. So you can see how clean these udders are. It's just amazing. And that's not something you're going to see on another dairy, where there's crap all over the udders and you just put the machine on because you don't worry about it.
The cows look very happy.
They're chewing their cud, they're hanging out. Chewing the cud is an indication of happiness.
Really?
If they're not chewing their cud, they're not happy.
Yeah.
If chewing their cud is like, I'm just having fun, I'm chilling. These cows have already been pre-sorted into cows that are of question. Yeah. We have one area where any cow that comes up a little off, they're immediately out of here. So these cows are all pre-screened and good to go. But then they'll pre-dip with iodine, they'll strip, they'll check, they'll wipe it off with a towel, and they'll put the machine on. And that makes a very, very sanitary set of conditions for that. These machines are hung up nice and high, because this cow takes a poop, we don't want it to fall on the machine.
Right.
So you won't see manure on the machines, they're very clean. Lots of things are going to start going down now. You got pulsators, you got vacuums starting, you got chillers happening, all the machines and everything. And they're starting to prepare the udders right now. You can see where they're actually squirting the milk out of the udders and doing the things there. They're testing the milk. They're looking at the milk on the floor to make sure there's nothing unusual in the milk. There's always some bacteria in the milk teat, the teat canal itself. And you want to wash that out by squirting it out. And then what you're getting is pure milk from outside the udder versus what's sitting in the teat canal. This is a prep they're putting on. It's a hydrogen peroxide based pre-dip. Then they'll go through and wipe it off with a towel, and then they'll put the machine on. Cows are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And so they come in and they enjoy routine. Yeah. And this is just part of their daily deal. There goes the machine right there, first one tonight. And the machine goes on the udder right there. And
wow.
There's the milk. Super clean, super quick, super cold. That's a vacuum pump, which is actually pulling air and suction on the cows at about 12 millibars, which is not a lot of pressure, but it's just enough to hold the machine on. The chiller on. Thank you, buddy. You feel this right here? That's going to be the temperature of the milk. Super ice cold.
So then it chills and then it pumps into the truck?
It goes into the tank. The
tanks.
And we wait until the end of the milking. Okay. And at that point, it gets taken out into the truck. And we also take a sample of that milk through the milk port, and that goes to the lab. Okay. So we're not only testing the cows individually every week, but we also test the bulk tank every day. So you know what's in that milk.
My name is Ashley Armstrong, and I am the manager here at Nourish Cooperative. We partner with a number of small-scale farms that practice regenerative agriculture practices to grow a wide variety of really nutrient-dense foods like sourdough, raw cheeses, raw milk, beef, chicken, pork. High-quality raw milk is produced in the safest, most sanitary conditions possible, and that's from every part of the production process. When you buy milk from the store, oftentimes that comes from tanks all around the country brought to a single pasteurization plant. For raw dairy, that is a single point tapping of the milk. On top of that, all of our farm partners test their milk every week or every other week, and then every 2 months, each individual animal is tested.
It seems like your experiences of being deplatformed and censored have largely been around raw milk. Why do you think that's happening? You're a doctor talking about the benefits of raw milk. I haven't seen anything odd in any of your posts about raw milk. It's actually all backed by peer-reviewed science.
I think in most, if not all, of the content that I do about raw milk, I put a warning and I say all raw food carries a risk of contamination. A lot of people get sick from sushi, despite it being delicious. A lot of people get sick every year from eating raw spinach or raw vegetables.
Even deli meats, which aren't raw, but
hundreds of thousands of people have gotten sick from pasteurized milk in the past. There was a huge outbreak of salmonella in pasteurized milk in the 1980s, something that's never ever talked about. So food is just dangerous in general. Eating food that isn't completely sterilized in an autoclave, which doesn't make very tasty food, it's dangerous to be a human and to put things in our mouth. People get sick from drinking water from their faucets, whether it's contaminants, bacteria, or pharmaceuticals. So all of these things carry risk. And when I look at raw milk, I think there are unique benefits to raw versus pasteurized milk.
First, you will observe the raw milk animals. They move about the pen with a great deal of agility and coordination. The pasteurized milk-fed cats, shown here, move about the pen in a manner quite different from the raw milk cats. The cat in the foreground actually developed arthritis during the experiment. They are lethargic, much like animals in a zoo.
Pasteurization, they never look at pathogens. As many as you want, bring them on. Bacteria count's extremely high. We're not talking about that kind of milk. Remember, you had to meet and exceed pasteurized milk standards in bacteria without pasteurizing. Less than 10 coliforms. You could have 750 coliforms in milk that's gonna go off to be pasteurized. We're not talking about ever commingling milk between 50 different dairies in one big tank and never worrying about pathogens. Listeria, E. coli, salmonella. Bring it on, who cares? Because we're gonna cook it.
Yeah.
Some have had bad experiences with raw milk. There's a lot of people that think, oh, I'll get raw milk from my dairy. They go down to the local dairy that serves the processor, and it's like, it doesn't taste very good, it's just filled with crap. And then you might get sick. Everything's in there. So there is some truth to that story. You have to acknowledge it and say, there's a different standard, we're not even talking about that kind of milk.
Yeah, low quality cows, low quality operations will result in low quality milk.
In confinement milk, the animals are eating GMO corn and soy. There's a ton of pesticides sprayed on those GMO corn and soy that show up in the milk product. And then in the confinement operation, you got to spray something to keep the fly population down. So insecticides are sprayed, various medications are used for the animals. Now, I mean, with the bird flu, they're talking about mRNA vaccine for the cows. That's going to show up in the milk that you consume.
Kind of the dark side of pasteurization is they discovered pasteurization and they're using it at 145, 150 degrees. That was the original pasteurization temperature. They're now up to 282 degrees. The higher you get, the more damaged the milk becomes. The longer the shelf life you get, less refrigeration required, easier for distribution. Unfortunately, those higher temperature pasteurization, not the lower ones, but the higher ones, they have something called HAAs in them. Heterocyclic, aromatic amines. They're causing cancer. It's also the most allergenic food in America. Go to the FDA website, #1. If you have asthma, don't even get near pasteurized milk. You'll trigger it. So you have this major problem with pasteurization being highly allergenic, not bioavailable because it's dead. It's also hard to digest.
Lactose is the sugar within the milk, and folks with digestive issues tend to have trouble breaking that down. There's an enzyme in raw milk that is called lactase, and it aids in digestion. That is damaged or destroyed during the pasteurization process, and the human body has to produce it itself. Well, not everybody can do that.
You not only have the probiotic diversity of bacteria like lactobacillus, bifidobacteria, colonies of bacteria that make lactase for you in your gut. So you're consuming lactose sugar, and the bacteria that make lactase for you is ready to break down. We're talking about milk that comes from one dairy, one farmer, who takes incredible amount of work to do a great job of never having pathogens, having very, very low bacteria counts, and everything clean and delicious, and never killing anything. So you have to really divide this out and have the two standards discussed separately. Now, I would totally agree, and I agree now with the FDA, that milk intended for pasteurization must be pasteurized.
The powers that are have the lab testing technology to test raw milk, and it's just a little bit archaic. We refuse to use the technology to allow people to benefit from raw milk production. It's head scratching at times, I guess, to say the best.
We have a great difficulty with the FDA. They refuse to meet with us.
Are you serious?
They refuse to meet with us. They deny. They are all on board with the National Conference of Interstate Milk Shipments and the processor guys. They will not talk of this.
It's just comical to compare the two. Talk about a superior product all across the board, and it's being demonized. You have to wonder if there is some sort of reason for that.